The Full Melt Show is intended for a mature audience. It contains adult themes, adult content, and sometimes adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
The Full Melt.
Medical marijuana, it is legal for people to use in 23 states, including right here in Arizona. But what about pot for your pets if they're sick?
Yeah, this is starting to happen. A Tempe-based company is working on some cannabis-laced treats for pets right now. And some see pet edibles as a potentially lucrative market.
Fox 10's Jill Monier joins us live with more. My little pet, a min pin, has a sore foot tonight. I wonder if this would work.
Well, I don't know. We'll have to see. Who would have thought, right?
Nice try, Carrie.
Nevada lawmakers are debating a bill right now, actually, that would allow veterinarians to prescribe medical marijuana to pet owners. And some are interested in being able to provide for potential relief for their sick or aging animals.
They said, on the outside, she doesn't look like anything's wrong with her, but on the inside, she's a really sick dog.
Lauren Byrne of Cave Creek says she would consider giving pot edibles to her dog, Sophie.
If she ever gets to a point where she's not eating or she's really uncomfortable, but it's not necessarily that time yet, and it was proven to release pain and help her eat and have a little more energy in the ending days, I would absolutely consider it.
The 8-year-old standard poodle was diagnosed with cancer last year. Byrne estimates she spent $12,000 on surgeries and chemo.
They told me 8 or 9 months ago that she was only supposed to live another 3 months, so she's a fighter.
The president of a Tempe-based company called American Green, which is touted as the first publicly traded marijuana company, says he's working on cannabis edibles for pets.
Probably in a biscuit form. It's pretty common. Again, there are salves that can be rubbed on.
Stephen Sheeran says unlike pot for people, his product for pets would not contain THC, which is attributed to the marijuana high, but instead would be made from hemp, containing CBD, which is said to alleviate pain.
It's a quality of life thing, and it's not designed, again, for the psychotropic effects. It's not something like get your dog baked, buy it in the back of the New Times or something. It's
among the concerns critics have the effects of pot on pets and people making health decisions without consulting a vet.
I would have concerns about people abusing it too, but in the right home and in the right hands, I think that it would be a great thing they're your family member, so why wouldn't you want them to be more comfortable?
And so the FDA has been watching this, reportedly sending letters to some of these companies that are marketing and selling these cannabis products for pets, and specifically targeting their advertising, that they're advertising it as safe and effective, and they're saying the studies just haven't been done on this.
So pain relief properties, but this will not get you high. If a human were to eat this, they would not get a high from it.
Well, I'm no
dog treats.
I'm no expert, but from what I understand on it is that the cannabis has the CBD, which is different from the THC, which is found in marijuana that produces that high you get in marijuana.
Okay, so
this would have little, if none, of that.
Okay.
And probably
From
not
my
the same
understanding.
effects on the dog's liver or kidneys, wherever some of these painkillers that you would typically give them.
Right. The president of American Green was saying that this is designed for pain relief, not for any psychotropic effects.
Okay.
Tropic effects.
All right.
There we go.
Thank you,
That's
Jill.
my knowledge on
Are
all
you
of this.
high? It's the Full Melt.
The Full Melt Show. A marijuana discussion about news, culture, politics, and lifestyle. FullMelt.com. Toll free. 844-420-TALK. 844-420-TALK.
Say welcome to another edition of the Full Melt Show. Today, pets and pain. And is medical marijuana something they can have? Just want to read to you from a bit of an article here. An article? It seems like it is. So this is from the LA Times. So your dog is literally on its last legs. I don't think it has to be on its last legs. And the end is near, and Fido has stopped eating. You want to bring an end to his pain. What to do? Under a bill proposed in Nevada, you can get him medical marijuana. Legislation introduced in the state Senate would allow pets to use pot under a veterinarian's supervision. Are they really going to supervise? I think they might. There is a senator there who sponsored Senate Bill 372, says there are guidelines even for Fido. Officials will be able to issue a medical marijuana card only if the animal's owner is a Nevada resident. Really? And a vet certifies that the creature has an illness that might be helped by marijuana. And the illness need not be fatal. Well, see, there you go. Last legs. Jeez. The senator told the Los Angeles Times that the idea isn't as far-fetched as it might seem. People these days believe that marijuana can cure everything under the sun, he said, from the inability to eat if you're terminally ill to problems with your nervous system. So if your dog has a nerve disease or uncontrollable tremors, this might be able to help it. The senator said that the animal pot use provision is part of a bill that makes some corrections to the state's medical marijuana statute. He said the state medical marijuana statute would be changed, looking for ways to strengthen the former legislation when he heard from numerous constituents who wanted to know why their pet couldn't benefit from the pain-assisting benefits of pot as well. And if you got it for people, why wouldn't you have it available for pets? It seems kind of commonsensical. This was an omnibus bill. It included everything in the kitchen sink, including the kitchen sink, he said. There are a lot of things in it, but this is the one addition that people seem to be fixating on. The senator said he'd give pot to his own pets if a veterinarian says it's okay. The state senator said he has received calls from people with a question. If they have a medical marijuana card, can they give the drug to their pets? The answer is no. Fido would need his own card to be legal. That will change if we get a law passed for recreational marijuana use, he said, and it's going to happen. We've already got 100,000 signatures to get the issue on the ballot next year. On the ballot? Really? I didn't know that. Still, the idea of giving pot to animals has its skeptics. Another senator there says, I've never heard of this, he told the LA Times. There are vets out there who would even know if this works. Wait a minute. Are there vets out there who would even know if this works on animals? There are a lot of questions, he says. The sponsoring senator said he knew of no other U.S. state that has passed such a law. This could be a whole new industry, he said. Social media was all abuzz with this information. Wrote one prankster, if it's for my koi and gerbils, officer, I swear, it's for my pets. Really, that weed is not for me. My dog ate it, man. And how does a dog hold a doobie? Just curious. There's a lot of pranks about this. Who's the pet food lobbyist in Carson? Are they behind this? Do pets get the munchies? And finally, and thus was born the term in the Nevada legislature, often moves slower than a stone sloth. In fact, a company called Canna Companion produces a medical tincture for dogs and cats that says it provides the benefits of the cannabis plant while minimizing the high-inducing concentrations of THC. According to the company's website, the product is legal because it is not identified for human consumption. It meets the current definition of hemp supplements under the United States federal law. The company says that in higher concentrations, some compounds in pot can be toxic to dogs and cats. That is one reason we do not advocate blowing marijuana smoke in your pet's face or administering human medical-grade cannabis to pets. So that's the story in the LA Times. Now, this story appeared a little while ago. Let's see if I can get the date on this. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Not seeing a date associated with this. I know this had to have been a little while ago because, and let me just give you a side note because I'm going to look something up as we go here. The reason that I didn't mention the senator's name is because I didn't want to. It's a strange spelled name, and I didn't want to murder it. And in fact, Senator Segerblom, I think is how you pronounce his name. I asked him to spell it phonetically for me so I wouldn't murder it. Segerblom? I think it's Segerblom, not Segerblom. Segerblom. It's hard to get the phonetics to work in the email. So Senator Segerblom is going to be on the program today. And when I, kind of was emailing him earlier, seeing if he'd be interested in coming on to talk about this, the subject came up about the whole pet pain thing. And it seems like the senator is really an advocate and wanted to, I think that this, earlier the article reflected this, the idea that this is a comprehensive bill. It's already in place. This bill, the law is already in place. This bill sought to modify that law and make a bunch of changes to the whole medical marijuana program, including this inclusion about pets, because people had contacted the senator about it. But when I was talking to the senator earlier, he had mentioned that there was some news, and it was news that I was unaware of. So when we come back from the break in just a bit, because we're not quite at the break yet, we'll talk to the senator and see what he has to say about this news, because I didn't know. But I think it is historic, and it is reflective of the rest of the news across the nation about the acceptance of the subject of medical marijuana, clearly across the board. I believe it's 78%. Was that a Pew Research study? 78% of Americans agree with medical marijuana across the whole country. National poll. When you start talking about recreational marijuana, still divisive. I thank goodness that people have started to look at the subject of medical marijuana and decided to rip the badge of boogeyman off its chest, because so many people have benefited by it, and so many people need to benefit by it. And I'm afraid that that ugly badge held them back, kept them from getting any kind of knowledge or information that might have even helped some of these poor souls, be they gone or be they still with us, because we have both instances, don't we? The object here is to do the right thing. Approach this subject from a standpoint of reasonability, a standpoint of central focus. Let's put our hands over our ears for a second and go la, 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 la to all the people talking about what this is and what this isn't, and examine the facts on the ground. Don't let people tell you what's around you in your world. Go investigate and find out on your own. And we'll talk to Senator Segerblom from Nevada about his bill and the news that he informed me of earlier today, next on The Full Melt Show. Stay right there. Don't go away. You're getting the full melt. It's not easy out there, but it can be easier. And when it comes to medical marijuana in Michigan and chronic pain management, Dr. Bob Townsend, renowned for his patient advocacy and deep understanding of how patients and medical marijuana certifications fit together, makes it his hallmark to educate and provide the best holistic treatment for your condition. His knowledgeable staff makes you feel warm and welcome, and Dr. Bob makes you feel well. With locations across the state in Cadillac and Gaylord, Kalamazoo, Marquette, Mount Pleasant, Muskegon, Saginaw, Traverse City, you can't beat the convenience and feeling you get knowing you have someone on your side that cares. Denali Healthcare is on the web at denalihealthcaremi.com. Get answers to your holistic health questions or schedule an appointment now by calling 989-339-4464. Chronic pain management and holistic health answers is what they do. It's all they do. DenaliHealthcareMI.com. Get your certification and peace of mind now by making an appointment with Dr. Bob Townsend at 989-339-4464.
Got something to hide? Cannalock offers discreet and effective storage solutions that destroy odor, so nobody knows. Cannalock is a patented charcoal-activated bag that discreetly stores your marijuana. Cannalock is made from the same material as military chemical warfare suits. Get yours at Cannalock.com. Visit Cannalock.com to learn more about no-smell technology.
They're parasites. They've got no contribution to this society. They're preying on our community and our kids. And it's going to end badly.
We've got exactly $100,000 in cash in the back of this car. I bet there's guys right there in that prison for doing just what we're about to do.
I want the Breckenridge Cannabis Club to be a household name.
This is us pioneering a new industry.
He's going after every resort town in Colorado. His plan is brilliant.
This is a big boy operation now.
We are not the Amsterdam of the Rockies. We're Breckenridge.
Absolutely unbelievable to us that this has happened so quickly.
That's when the town erupted.
All hell can break loose.
I think we have an image to protect.
The powerful elite has definitely put the pressure on.
Everyone is playing everyone.
They're going to have a target painted on their back.
That is a real threat.
There's $2 billion to be had next year. I plan to take more than my fair share.
High Profits, Sunday night at 10 Eastern on CNN.
Does your dog or cat suffer with joint disorders, arthritis, anxiety, cancer, chronic pain, or other ailments? Hemp or cannabis-based medicinal products are now legal. Why should your pets go without the same options that we have available? Try Sativus, a daily hemp oil with CBD. Sativus is quality inspected and made in the USA. Easy-to-use drops are applied directly to your pet's food. For your pet's wellness, try Sativus drops. Ask for Sativus at your local pet store or learn more at petpain.com.
With this warmer weather, I get more active. Headaches and pains keep me from doing things I enjoy, like golfing and working outside my yard. Toledo Hemp Center's new location, 1415 Sylvania Avenue, has shown me there is an alternative to pharmaceutical drugs. I use CBD, cannabidiol, infused hemp lotions, oral sprays, and topical oils. Thank you, Toledo Hemp Center, for helping me restore and maintain my health with no side effects and no high. Find out more at ToledoHempCenter.com.
So this is Brian Rogers
and Caitlin McGuire
from CNN's High Profits.
And you're listening to The Full Melt Show.
So I picked up the paper today and was looking around. I really didn't. I was looking on the internet. Who picks up the paper anymore? Come on, who am I kidding? I was browsing around on the internet. It wasn't just today either. It was, over the course of several days, actually. Because I have a personal connection to this issue, and we also have an advertiser connection to this issue. Just as a heads up to that. But I was browsing around, and I saw this story that intrigued me. It caught my eye immediately. Pets and pain and cannabis products. It just seems to follow. It seems to make natural sense that if you have a pet with a pain issue and you're in a place that had medical marijuana, especially, and I'll say this also, you don't need necessarily medical marijuana in a state as an allowance to have pet pain products available to you, being that there are a lot of places all throughout the country that distribute CBD products made from hemp or hemp oil. They're imported all the time. And I've used some of these products, not because I have an advertiser on the program. I knew about this product, and I used it on a pet and had some results that we'll talk about later on in the program. But this wasn't just one story. It was a collection of stories. It looks like AP picked it up about this issue in Nevada where they've added, or were trying to add, a stipulation in their medical marijuana law that says, hey, we're going to allow this for pets. And, it's only under the supervision of a veterinarian, a qualified vet, and only if the vet says that your pet needs it, just like a human would be. So I want to welcome to the program Senator Segerblom from Nevada. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You've got an interesting name, Senator.
Tick, you mean?
Tick and Segerblom. What can I ask where that comes from? Where the background for those names are? Because they're certainly unique.
Yeah, well, Segerblom is just a Swedish name, means victory blossom, and Tick is just a nickname I picked up when I was a baby. But everybody knows me by that, so I've made it my political name, and everybody just says, "Hey, Tick, what's going on?" Maybe because they can't say Segerblom.
I'm Steve Green, and the only nickname I had as a kid was a green bean booger machine. I don't think that would go so well with the political thing,
Yeah.
So it seems that the news has gravitated towards the pet aspect in your attempted legislation change. Can you give us? You gave me some news too. What is that news? You told me some news earlier today that I was unaware of.
Well, the bill that I had drafted and you've read about, that had to be passed by a certain deadline out of the state senate, and it failed to pass. So at this point, it's dead as far as Nevada goes.
When did this bill get introduced, Senator?
1st of February.
And killed that quickly, huh? Dies that quickly in the committee?
Yeah, I hate to say it, but my political party is not in control, and the other political party didn't think it was a very exciting issue. So
You're a Democrat, am I correct?
Right, correct.
And the Republicans have control of the legislature in Nevada.
Right.
That's the same situation here in Michigan. It seems to be much the same around the country, doesn't it?
Well, based on the last election, we were in control 2 years ago, and we hope to get control back in 2 years, but this session's been pretty tough.
Now, although the media has been focusing on this pet issue, it really was a broader, more comprehensive change you were looking to make to your existing law. Am I correct in stating it like that?
Right. 2 years ago, I passed our medical marijuana law as far as having establishments where you can grow it, make edibles, and purchase it. And this was just kind of a follow-up on that bill with all kinds of technical changes that we've learned over the past 2 years, but also issues that have come to me, and one of them was this issue about pets and marijuana. And I just felt that people would talk to me about it. They said, well, the reality is we could give it to our dog or whatever, but that would be illegal, but why not have a veterinarian who has a license by the state? They should be able to issue a prescription, just like a doctor can issue a prescription to me, a vet could issue a prescription to my dog.
Well, when we talk about prescription, is it really a prescription or is it a recommendation?
Right. It's not a technical prescription because then you fall under the DEA and all these federal guidelines, but it's the same thing. And basically, they write a form that says that we think that this person should be able to have medical marijuana. Or in
this case, this animal.
Right.
Why do you think there's been such a focus on the pet part of this?
Well, it's just very sexy, It's, I don't know if you followed the whole history of it, but Dennis Miller was on Bill O'Reilly's show and was trashing it, and then other people picked it up and said it was great, and it just became a huge phenomenon. The New York Times called me, every major newspaper, and AP and UPI, and
oh, good Lord!
It really is my 50 minutes of fame.
I did not know that Dennis Miller was hawking on this.
Yeah.
Was he making a lot of fun of this? He was poking a lot of holes in it?
Yeah.
I know Dennis Miller does not like the marijuana subject.
But the way he screams, he's the one that needs it,
You'd think that he might.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure he's been exposed to it. Geraldo's been around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure Bill O'Reilly has, too.
Yeah, you can say that again. So, tell me a little bit about the rest of the bill. I mean, we're focusing on this pet thing for this program, but being that it's a broader bill, you were trying to make changes that were loosening restrictions or making some modifications, allowing for.
Right. Just we when the first time you enact one of these laws, you basically create a whole new industry, and so you look around the country and pick the models you like, and we actually picked a very good model for Nevada as far as everything's for profit. It's not nonprofit. We wanted to have the best operators from around the country move to Nevada and compete.
Right.
And we were able to do that, but in the process, we took some things we didn't realize, and so we didn't have a transferability. We had limits on where they could move around. We had a limit on how many total dispensaries there are from the state down, which is, in my opinion, wrong. And now that I know about it, it would just be local jurisdictions. If they want to have one or they want to have 50, that should be their decision. So, and there's just lots of little technical changes that would make the law better, more business friendly, and those things, a lot of them have survived in another bill, 276, but because of the pet part was in that other bill you're talking about, that bill just died a quiet death.
That was 372, Senate Bill 372. It seems to me, and this is just a by-the-by thing because it seems rather important, have you ever addressed the issue of reciprocity in your state's medical marijuana law?
That was in our original law, yeah. And we're the only state that will recognize a card from out of state.
No, Michigan does.
Oh, you do too?
There's actually 6 other states besides Michigan. I think yours included.
Oh, okay. Well, good for them because we did it. We were told we were the first state to do that. And
you may have been because did you have a medical marijuana program in place before 2008?
No, we just we've had medical marijuana in our Constitution since 2000, but since we didn't pass an actual law with dispensaries and reciprocity and everything until 2013.
Oh, okay. So
2013.
I think it's important for tourism in a state. You've got obviously Las Vegas. You've got one of the number one tourist destinations in the world.
We have 40 million tourists a year in Nevada.
So it seemed like for especially people coming from, I bet you get a lot of visitors from California, being here just right around right literally across the desert.
Exactly. So it's a real important part of our law, and we're going to go for recreational in 2 years, and at that point it's going to be a huge part of our tourism industry. It's just we have these huge concerts. We're going to have one this weekend. 75,000 people around the Strip. What better place to have recreational marijuana? You can purchase it. You can use it. You never get in trouble. You don't have to drive anywhere. I mean, we have 150,000 hotel rooms right there on the Strip.
Well, and taxi cabs galore.
Yeah, so anyway, I just think recreational marijuana is made for Nevada.
Well, when it comes to the medical aspect, because that's what you were trying to adjust with this bill.
Right.
And when you're looking at the pet thing, did you have some constituents come to you, you said, and talk to you about this?
Yeah, they just said, we would like to experiment with our animals, and frankly, they may have already tried it, but to be on the up and up, why not make it legal and have it like I said, like the current medical marijuana for people, just do the same thing for animals. The vet doesn't have to issue it, but if a vet thought that it would work, and also that would try some experimentation. The great thing about medical marijuana is it doesn't hurt your liver and all these things that these opioids and things do.
Right.
So that the reality is, if it works for you, it's a much better drug than the current drugs that are on the market. And the same thing for dogs. Lots of dogs have arthritis. Lots of them have cancer. Lots of things with big pain. So anyway, if it works, why not? And why not try it?
Here's an interesting fact about opioids and like your liver and kidneys, the things that they are always watching out for if you're taking those kind of medications. Things like Vicodin are purposely add acetaminophen in there because it's toxic to things like your kidneys and your liver. And it was added originally back in the day when they started kind of classifying these drugs and codifying them according to the CSA. They said, okay, we want to put this in there. It might have even been predating the CSA, like in the 50s when they first were coming out with these in a medical way, putting them in there to prevent people from abusing them. I think that's rather a dark, sinister way of trying to keep people from abusing drugs, but it's really the acetaminophen that causes that toxicity.
Wow. Well, if that's true, then millions of people have really lost their livers for no good reason. It has just destroyed people.
Well, and this is why people end up, when they're addicted to painkillers that they've been prescribed, and they can't find a way to get off of them, and the doctors cut them off because they have to, according to their license and the prescribability of it, that they end up migrating to things like heroin because it doesn't contain those things, and they get the relief that they're seeking as far as the addiction goes.
Yeah.
We're getting off track. So,
well, maybe I had a heroin bill this session, too, where we would have a program like they have in Portugal or even Canada where you actually have, if you're an addict, you can go in, the state will administer heroin to you 3 times a day, and it gets you out of the criminal system and lets you function. Hopefully, once you have stability, you can try to get off of it, but the reality is it's out there anyway, and this way you know what you're getting, you're not going to overdose, and it works fantastic in these other countries. But that bill died too.
Oh, that bill died too. Surprise. It seems like in places like Uruguay, where they used to have a horrible heroin problem, they legalized a bunch of drugs. Was it Uruguay? I might be mistaken on.
I think you're talking about Portugal.
Portugal, you're correct. It is Portugal. And as soon as they took all these prohibitions about drugs away, they're still not condoned, but they've taken all the prison aspect out of it, all of the criminal punishment.
Well, but also, I understand in Portugal, you can actually get it from the government, and they have a team that will work with you, but when you first come in, they will give it to you, and then they will try to work with you to get off of it. But at the end of the day, you don't have to go out on the street and bum it or get something bad or create a criminal element to society by trying to find it.
When they instituted this policy, they found an instant 50% reduction in the number of addicts on the street because they were dumping the money they were formerly putting into interdiction and prosecution and incarceration now into saying, hey, if you're an employer and you hire one of these guys, we'll pay for half of their 50% of their paycheck. And this was an incentive that got people and re-engaged with other people and got them out of that cycle of abuse and off into a productive life. So they've had some tremendous success with that kind of a policy there.
Yeah, I mean our drug policies are the worst. You couldn't do anything stupider. The war on drugs is over and we lost. Let's get over it and let's focus on making them effective. And the reality is the worst thing you can do is criminalize this stuff because then you create an underground, you put people in prison that shouldn't be there. You put felonies on their records so they can't get a functional job. You destroy their families. For what?
Well, because this is a trade that's not going away, and people are going to choose to do this, whether obviously no matter how damaging the perils of suffering the consequences of the criminal justice system.
And the reality is the worst drugs in the world are alcohol and tobacco.
And they seem to continue to be. So back to this pet pain thing. Now you had some people come in and they said we wanted to do this, and so you put this in the bill Was there some urgency behind it with these people? I mean, were these guys like saying, "Look, this my animal's really bad off. Can I do this? Is this legal?"
That part I don't recall as being that, but the reality is we only meet every other year in Nevada. So what happens is I have a year and a half basically to come up with ideas and have a law drafted or proposed law drafted, and that's what I did. I just took a bunch of issues that people had come to me with and said, "Hey, why don't you think about this?" And I gave it to my lawyer and said, "Put in a bill." They had what I call an omnibus bill. One of the issues was this pet bill, but the pet bill definitely took priority as far as when people read that, they went crazy.
Well, it's a fascinating subject because people can relate to pets. They can relate to their pets', health issues. They're responsible for them, just like children.
And people will do anything for their pets.
I just saw.
So, I mean, even though the Dennis Millers of the world made fun of it, 99% of the people that said, "Why not? If it'll help my pet, I will do anything."
I remember a time in my life where I was like, "Look, this cat is so cool." I'm a cat guy. I like cats. I like all animals, but I tend to have cats. And I was so fond of this cat that I was like, there has to be a way to clone this cat. Because I knew it wasn't going to be around forever. But if I had the money at the time, I believe I would have sought a way out to clone him, which is tremendously expensive. I just saw a lady doing the research for this program on a video talking about she spent $17,000 to remove tumors and to have chemo and radiation done on a dog. This was a big French poodle of hers that had been diagnosed with cancer. $17,000. And she was seeking out, cannabinoid products for her pet, probably to ease its pain in its last days. This is much of what people do, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
So, Senator, I guess I have to ask you, again, we're getting ready to go to break here, so I might have to ask you after the break. Maybe I'll ask you now, you can answer after the break. So is there any chance that you will have to bring this bill back up, or these aspects, the changes that you wanted to make in the omnibus bill, and then also this thing about the pet thing? If you could hang on through the break with us, it's about 3 or 4 minutes. We'll come back and answer that question. Can we do that?
Sure.
All right. Our subject this hour, pets and medical marijuana. It's the Full Melt Show. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
You're getting the Full Melt.
It started with Weed 1.
Some have called it a watershed moment.
Then came Weed 2.
It's absurd that we would have to do this to get medicine.
Now Dr. Sanjay Gupta is at it again, and he's reaching higher than ever with Weed 3.
I never thought I would be smoking weed in the hospital.
The movement behind it.
We demand this plant go through the process of the FDA.
The radical research.
I have to say I'm kind of stunned.
Weed 3, the marijuana revolution.
Each week, Pot Pitch takes a look at different medical or legal pot business as they attempt to seek investment capital and partners in order to take their business to the next level. What do investors like?
And which entrepreneurs are shown the door?
Real venture capitalists, smart entrepreneurs, and exciting business models in a brand new industry. Cannabis. Pot Pitch. Find out what this new marijuana industry will look like and who its players will be. Real deals, real people, real decisions. Pot Pitch at potpitch.com and featured on the Full Melt Radio Show.
Got something to hide? Cannalock offers discreet and effective storage solutions that destroy odor, so nobody knows. Cannalock is a patented charcoal-activated bag that discreetly stores your marijuana. Cannalock is made from the same material as military chemical warfare suits. Get yours at Cannalock.com. Visit Cannalock.com to learn more about no-smell technology.
Does your dog or cat suffer with joint disorders, arthritis, anxiety, cancer, chronic pain, or other ailments? Hemp or cannabis-based medicinal products are now legal. Why should your pets go without the same options that we have available? Try Sativus, a daily hemp oil with CBD. Sativus is quality inspected and made in the USA. Easy-to-use drops are applied directly to your pet's food. For your pet's wellness, try Sativus Drops. Ask for Sativus at your local pet store or learn more at petpain.com.
With this warmer weather, I get more active. But aches and pains keep me from doing things I enjoy, like golfing and working outside my yard. Toledo Hemp Center's new location, 1415 Sylvania Avenue, has shown me there is an alternative to pharmaceutical drugs. I use CBD, cannabidiol, infused hemp lotions, oral sprays, and topical oils. Thank you, Toledo Hemp Center, for helping me restore and maintain my health with no side effects and no high. Find out more at ToledoHempCenter.com.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
Radio show.
I know you came here to see. If you a freak, then you come out with me. And I know what you came here to do. Now bust it open, let me see you get loose. It's going down for real.
So welcome back to the program. Boy, I'm not used to that particular song yet. We just added it to the rotation today. Look, our subject is pets and pet pain, medical marijuana for pets. Our guest on the phone this afternoon is Senator Tick Segerblom. Yes? I didn't murder it, did I?
No, you did. You're getting pretty good.
So I just wanted to play this little piece. I wonder if I don't know if I can. I'm going to try. Oh, I think I lost. No, did I lose it? No, I didn't. I didn't lose it. Here we go. Let's play this piece. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it or not, but I'm going to give it a shot. This is a little piece about the Nevada bill. I'm not going to play that because it's in another language. This shows you exactly how it's actually in Chinese.
Wow.
It shows you how far that this story has gone. There's a minute and a half of a video clip that's got the "Welcome to Las Vegas" sign on it. I thought that was a U.S. clip. It's not. It's Chinese. So you can see how tremendously universal this subject is.
Oh, as I said, when it comes to pets, people love them, and when it comes to marijuana, the press loves it, and the people love to read stories about marijuana. So it's a great combination, and it was just an accident. I stumbled into it, but it definitely made me famous, at least temporarily.
People can definitely relate. Is there any chance of reviving any of this legislation?
Probably not. In 2016, on the ballot, we're going to have recreational, and if that passes, then you won't have to have prescription because you can just buy it buy it legally and then just give it to your pet. There's no law that says you can't give pets something that's not it's your own pet. In fact, you can even poison your own pet. So,
oh, good Lord!
It's not that you'd want to do that, but that's what's going to happen. It's just going to be one of these things where people experiment and decide what works and doesn't work. But that's another part of what I thought what my bill would do. Would provide some kind of a structure so we could start to actually get some data from veterinarians that we could then use to say this kind of works, that kind of works, this kind of works for this. Just like when you go to a dispensary and the bud tender says, "Well, try this for backache, or try this for your headache, or try this for."
It's a kind of a dialing in ceremony, isn't it?
Right.
There's so many different varieties and hybrids that in order to figure out where you're at on the spectrum and what affects your disorder, you kind of got to move around on the dial a little bit.
Yeah, and but a veterinarian would know what this is better for arthritis or pain or whatever. But anyway, we'll get there. It's just funny that it kind of rose to the surface this way.
There were a lot of pet pain company type products that came out on the market very recently, it seems. Have you noticed any of these, like dog biscuits and little capsules and tinctures? And in this case, I don't know what this is. If this is an actual oil, it's a CBD hemp oil. I'm holding in my hand a bottle of Cannabis, which I'll tell you about in a second because I'll give you an anecdotal story which might help you in the future if you ever do get a chance to revive this.
Yeah, well, CBDs are coming out in everything because they're of course legal because you can get those from hemp. So every kind of for people and pets and everything else, they're out there. But one thing I found when I just came back from Denver was they have medical marijuana massages. Actually, they're marijuana massages now. But they don't just use CBDs; they have with the regular stuff too in it.
The THC's in there.
It's phenomenal. And again, that's something I think people go crazy in Las Vegas to go to Las Vegas and have a marijuana massage. Not only did you feel good, you go home and tell all your friends. I just had a marijuana massage, and then I went out and had a great dinner. And then I saw Cher or Britney or somebody.
You went to one of the LA mainline shows. I'm sorry, the Vegas mainline shows.
Exactly. So I Cirque du Soleil. just sat there and watched my head spin. I mean,
Well, what happens in Vegas?
exactly. It stays there, but the reality is you go home and you tell all your friends what you did. So
Well, and that's what makes people come back.
All right.
You said that you sound pretty confident about getting legislation passed, or is it a ballot initiative?
It's a ballot initiative.
Done in 2016.
Yeah, we had to get over 100,000 signatures to get on the ballot, but it's never over till it's over. But the polls show it's 60% or more favorability right now, and as you know, within this industry, things are moving so fast. The public sentiment is just like gay marriage; it's just moving dramatically in support. And particularly in younger people. So as my generation dies off, we're being replaced by people that say, why is it ever an issue?
Right. Well, heads turn slowly, and sometimes they end up turning quickly. I guess it depends on how loud the noise is and how close the crowd is to that noise.
Right.
I have to ask you this. I get a lot of high-profile guests on the program. And one of them was telling me that, I think they said this on the show the other day, if I'm not mistaken, that they had just hosted a bunch of Nevada legislators who came through and toured some large facilities there. Were you amongst them?
Yes, that was my tour.
Can you tell us a little about it?
Sure. We actually 2 years ago, I took a group down to Phoenix to see. They were just starting up to kind of use their as a model for our legislation, and it was so successful that we did the same thing 2 weekends ago. I think we went to Denver and met with some legislators, some city attorneys, some people that are involved in the industry, and then we went and toured a dispensary, toured a grow, went to an edibles place, and to a person that we had like 20 people, 5 or 6 legislators and some lobbyists and some other people, and they were just amazed. It is such an impressive industry. The people involved in it, they're not hippies at all. They're these business people. They're earth mothers. They're just the coolest people. They're all focused. It's just everything is clean. It's just amazing.
A professional industry.
Totally. But big industry. I mean, the other thing is though you don't have people laying on the streets. I mean, you would never know that Denver is any different than any other city as far as legalized marijuana.
From the outside looking in, as a spectator.
Just walk around the streets or driving down the road. But if you go into one of these places and you see the amount of money that's involved and the people that are employed, and then it's just there are 15,000 people in Colorado that are working in the industry that have licensed cards.
Well, there were, Denver was, and Colorado in general, had some significant depression in the recent history.
Absolutely. Just like everybody else, their housing prices went way down. I mean, they had huge problems.
I remember before, especially recreational marijuana, but before they were really gotten, really heavily involved in the medical marijuana issue, that there were a lot of storefronts that just were not utilized at all.
Well, just in Nevada, our warehousing, we had thousands of warehouses that were built and then were never used because the economy collapsed. Those places doubled in value just when we got our marijuana bills passed, because everybody's looking for a place to grow marijuana. It's just those incidental kind of things. There's just all kinds of auxiliary businesses that you wouldn't even think about. The police that have to work on it, the testing labs. It's just incredible the amount of jobs and money involved in this whole thing. And then, of course, the out-of-state money that's coming in to compete, because everybody wants to have one in every state, and they're going to go public with the corporations. So I tell them there's a window of 5 to 10 years until this thing goes legal nationwide, where there is so much money to be made in this industry.
I don't even think it'll be that long. I think in the after 2016, depending on who ends up getting passed and who doesn't end up getting passed, we might be looking at the final leg run of this race.
Well, I have to say, just going around, I think it's going to be 5 to 10 years.
You think so?
Yeah, but every state's going to be different. So, and it sounds like Michigan's actually been somewhat progressive on this.
A little bit. We've got the Governor Snidely Whiplash here. It's Governor Snyder. I call him Snidely Whiplash on occasion. He's the nerd. He touts himself as the nerd. But he avoided this question for the longest time. Oh, it's not on my radar. I got bigger problems to fix. It's the same thing that President Obama's done. Oh, the medical marijuana thing. We'll relax the laws a little bit. I got bigger stuff to do, admittedly. Most, I think, legislators do, right?
Yeah.
But Snidely Whiplash, Finally, when he did address this issue, when people had a chance to point blank him about this subject, because we were suffering, obviously Detroit and Michigan was tremendously economically impacted by that Great Recession, still climbing out of that now. But in the midst of this, when he first got elected governor, don't you see that there's an industry opportunity here, that there can be some real jobs put to work? And he said, I don't think that we want to be adding those kind of jobs. To me, that's the most ludicrous statement in the world.
We don't want those kind of taxes, right?
We don't want, that's not good money.
Yeah, but alcohol is fine. Let's do alcohol and cigarettes. That's great.
Right. Or gambling.
In Nevada, we have gambling and prostitution.
Right.
we have counties here. It's county by county option for prostitution. We have counties with prostitution that said, well, we don't want any marijuana. That's going to bring in an unsavory element.
But it's okay to have the hookers up the street.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a little strange.
A lot of hypocrisy. Anyway, I apologize. I got to get back into my hearing here. But
yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't know you guys were in session. I thought we caught you off guard. Off your legislative session there. No, Senator Tick Segerblom. Segerblom, yes.
Segerblom, that's correct.
I'm still questioning that pronunciation. Thank you for coming on the program. We're getting ready to go to break anyways. You've enlightened us about what's going on in Nevada, and we're happy to reach out to you and follow your progress as things progress there in your state.
Yeah, and tell everybody from Michigan, if you have a card, come to Nevada because you can use it here.
Hey, I feel a lot better than going to Chicago. I got to go to Chicago to do a show out there in July, and they don't have any reciprocity. So I've got a card out here. I don't know if it's going to do me any good there. In fact, I'm not going to test it. Thanks, Senator, again for coming on the program.
All right.
Good day to you. Medical marijuana and pets. It's fascinating. Apparently, the Chinese love this subject. Not to mention UPI and AP and ABC and CBS and all.
You're getting the full melt.
Got something to hide? Cannalock offers discreet and effective storage solutions that destroy odor, so nobody knows. Cannalock is a patented charcoal-activated bag that discreetly stores your marijuana. Cannalock is made from the same material as military chemical warfare suits. Get yours at Cannalock.com. Visit Cannalock.com to learn more about no-smell technology.
Each week, Pot Pitch takes a look at different medical or legal pot business as they attempt to seek investment capital and partners in order to take their business to the next level. What do investors like?
And which entrepreneurs are shown the door?
Real venture capitalists, smart entrepreneurs, and exciting business models in a brand new industry. Cannabis. Pot Pitch. Find out what this new marijuana industry will look like and who its players will be. Real deals, real people, real decisions. Pot Pitch at potpitch.com and featured on the Full Melt Radio Show.
Imagine a world where patients can use marijuana like any other medicine. The Marijuana Patients Organization challenges the status quo by helping our neighbors to enjoy a better quality of life. Visit the MPO at marijuanapatients.org and enjoy informative articles, engaging debates, and information about treatments, doctors, and dispensaries in your area. Over 50,000 people have registered at marijuanapatients.org since 2010. Join us at the Marijuana Patients Organization today, marijuanapatients.org.
It started with Weed 1.
Some have called it a watershed moment.
Then came Weed 2.
It's absurd that we would have to do this to get medicine.
Now Dr. Sanjay Gupta is at it again, and he's reaching higher than ever with Weed 3.
I never thought I would be smoking weed in the hospital.
The movement behind it.
We demand this plant go through the process of the FDA.
The radical research.
I have to say I'm kind of stunned.
Weed 3, the marijuana revolution.
They're parasites. They've got no contribution to this society. They're preying on our community and our kids. It's going to end badly.
We've got exactly $100,000 in cash in the back of this car. I bet there's guys right there in that prison for doing just what we're about to do.
I want the Breckenridge Cannabis Club to be a household name.
This is us pioneering a new industry.
He's going after every resort town in Colorado. His plan is brilliant.
Watch out for her dark side. This is a big boy operation now.
We are not the Amsterdam of the Rockies. We're Breckenridge.
Absolutely unbelievable to us that this has happened so quickly.
That's when the town erupted.
All hell can break loose.
I think we have an image to protect.
The powerful elite has definitely put the pressure on.
Everyone is playing everyone.
They're going to have a target painted on their back. That is a real threat.
There's $2 billion to be had next year. I plan to take more than my fair share.
High Profits, Sunday night at 10 Eastern on CNN. It's the Full Metal Radio Show. So you can reach us here every Monday through Friday live on the internet and in many locations across the country. All tied to the internet, of course. 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you get a chance, go to the top of the page at thefullmelt.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. If you get a chance, click through the Spreaker and like and follow us there as well. It helps us to proliferate this message, and we try so hard to do that for you. This issue of medical marijuana and pets, it's a pervasive one. The media literally sucked this issue directly out of that bill, which is a much bigger bill. I was looking at it today. The red line and additional content added to that bill and a bunch of parts stricken out are pretty immense. Immense. Is that immense? They're pretty immense. They're pretty amazing. Sometimes I make up words on my own. I think that it's important in the long run to have a good view about this. Nobody, in the first place, I'm a pet animal guy. I like animals. I like all of the animals. In fact, I have such an amazing connection. I think I have a stronger connection with animals than I do to people. I could do without a lot of people, a ton of people. If I never saw a bunch of people again, I don't think I would really, miss them that much. If I had to say the same thing about pets, I don't know that I could have the same focus. Pets and animals. Imagine stepping outside without birds. Imagine going into the forest without those sounds. Imagine going into any wilderness area and the animals are gone. There's a day where it might happen. I'm hoping that I'll not be here at that point in time. In fact, it's destined. The sun will expand, a couple of billion years from now, we'll be dust. But when you're looking at taking care of animals, and you look around and you got stuff that helps people, and it's, been demonized and it's controversial. But CBD products available currently in pet stores, online, from some veterinarians, seem to be helpful. I've got this cat, and I told this story a little bit yesterday, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update because I'm taking him into the vet tomorrow. Cat had a horrible mouth bleeding problem. It was really life-threatening. It was profuse bleeding. It was going on for a very long time, but it was intermittent. Just a little bit of blood sometimes, just a little reddening around the mouth, a little bit of discoloration in the water when they drink. Other times, come walking up to me just literally dripping blood. And so it was an alarming episode. This is a cat that I've agreed to take care for. It's my responsibility. So I did everything I could with this animal. I brought it into the vet multiple occasions, had blood work done, had him tested for feline leukemia and FIV, the feline version of AIDS, the feline version of HIV. This, all that came back negative. But his blood looked horrible, and this was while he was bleeding. They gave me stuff to try and stop the bleeding, to mitigate the problem, pointed to teeth, said there could be a tumor. He really got me scared about this animal. In fact, I thought it wasn't going to make it at one point. I actually gave it a round of the people that knew the cat to say goodbye to it because I didn't think it was going to make it through the night. But now I'm going to take this cat back because the cat's still kicking, doing great. In fact, looks like any other normal, healthy, active, playful cat. Does all the things a cat would be expected to do. And the only thing that I contribute to that change, because he's not bled in a couple of months, no bleeding. And this was going on almost since the time that he adopted me. This cat adopted me. I didn't adopt him. I used this product called Sativas. It's a CBD pet pain product. You can find it if you look it up online at petpain.com. Sativa CBD is a daily supplement for pets with arthritis, anxiety, cancer, diabetes, digestive problems, bone and joint issues, nausea, chronic pain, and seizures. Its contents, CBD hemp oil, cannabidiol. And so it says for pets under 10 pounds, use 3 drops in your pet's food twice daily. For pets over 10 pounds, use 6 drops in their food twice daily. So I used some of this, maybe a little bit more, because I knew it wasn't something that was going to be harmful or really have any negative effect on any of the cats. I've got 2 others. They're all male black cats. So this cat, probably about a week or so after I started giving him these drops in his food, this bleeding completely stopped. And a bunch of other indicators that made him look sick, like swollen lymph nodes, really badly swollen lymph nodes. And so badly that when the vet examined him, thought that these lymph nodes were growths. I had to correct the vet and say, no, those are not growths under there. Those are swollen lymph nodes. Are you sure? Oh, wow. She double-checked and she says, you're right. It is lymph nodes. I can't believe they're moving around like that. Almost egg-size, these things. Should barely be felt as a bump under the skin. Little bump. That's all it should be. So I'm taking this pet back because those have shrunk down to nearly nothing. Small, probably dime size now instead of egg size. And this bleeding of the mouth has completely gone away. No red, no sign of bleeding at all. Cat's activity is normal again. Eating and drinking, doing all the normal things a cat would do. So I'm taking him back to get his blood checked because that's the one thing that I haven't looked at. And I'm going to ask the vet about these pet pain products. And I'll report back to you tomorrow because this is going to happen tomorrow. Documenting even anecdotal evidence that this is causing. Look, I can tell you that I didn't look to solve the cat's problem with these drops. I wasn't looking for a cure. I wasn't looking for an answer. I was just looking for a way in case the cat was in pain with whatever bleeding was going on, because there's got to be some source of pain when there's bleeding happening. I was looking to try and comfort the cat. If you're going to end up bleeding to death on me, at least you be comfortable about it. That's a sad thing to say, but this is what happens with people and pets too. But it didn't not only, perhaps stopped the pain if the pet was in pain, but it seemed to have an overall effect on the general condition he was in altogether. And I've got no way of proving that other than that's the only thing that I did that was different. So it's some anecdotal evidence. Good. Why can't I speak today? It's some anecdotal evidence that the cat has had some direct causation. There's been some effect by this. But it's not scientific. It's just one story about a circumstance. And so I'm much aligned with Senator Tick Segerblom to try and find an answer to this for the pet population. Because while we don't want to see any human suffering when we talk about illness and pain, especially in people who have chronic situations going on, but you also don't want that anywhere. Anytime you got a sentient being that's suffering in some way, you want to help. It's I think a human tendency. It's a sort of an instinctual response to try and reach out and mitigate that. I don't think you're a healthy person if you aren't drawn in that way. It shouldn't be, if somebody falls over in front of you on the street and injures themselves, he or she or whatever, you should be drawn to that person to try and assist. I'm sorry, are you hurt? Are you okay? Here, let me help you up. Let me pick that up for you. Are you all right? Are you sure? That's just what we are as human beings. And so hopefully we can stretch this out to the animal population as well. And I think the only way to really do that is to get vets involved. Now, let me tell you this, and we're almost out of time on the show, but I was trying to get on somebody to compliment the senator's interview today, perhaps a veterinarian. And there are a crap ton, if you'll excuse the expression, of people out there that have, veterinarian credentials who are either manufacturing these kinds of products on their own, are promoting them on their own, or have spoken out about this extensively. Some, I would say, from what I've read, I would say 80% of it's been positive, with about 20% of apprehension and need for more testing. But more testing isn't the question. I think any testing is the question. I don't think there's any protocol in place. I think the way that the vets look at this is much less, I don't know, powered than the way that people look at this subject. There's nothing motivating people to tell the vets, look, can't we document this? Can't we get involved? Can you ask for a clinical trial to be done? Can we do some animal testing and find out for sure, using a scientific method, to see if this is going to help? We'll find out anecdotally if the problem that I had with my cat may have been affected by CBD, and see if there is any other medical answer. Report back to you tomorrow on that. It's the Full Belt program. We'll see you then.
The Full Belt Show is a production of TFM Media.